While you're doing your holiday shopping, consider this. Returning things that we bought online is expected to cost $550 billion next year. And a big chunk of that, clothes and shoes that they either don't fit or maybe just don't look like the way that we had hoped when we saw it online. Now that soon could actually be a problem of the past. Levi's CEO recently saying that he thinks that clothing sizes will be obsolete in a decade. Yeah, that's thanks to laser and body scan technology. It's similar to TSA scanners and also machines that are used in the fitness industry to get more accurate health measurements. But in this case, think smaller.
Now we can use iPads, we can use mobile phones by really just taking them across and around our body to create really great three-dimensional measurements.
Fashion expert Andrew Bernstein says that the body scan tech is there to take the guesswork out of measurements. The next step is rolling out laser technology that will create custom-sized clothes from uploaded measurements by consumers.
So there's no middleman. It's directly to the consumer where they now can get involved in not only body sizing, but also in buying and doing all these things that are going to make it a lot easier, more cost effective, and make it a lot better for the consumer.
Now, some smaller companies like Red Thread are already selling customized fitted clothes to anyone with a smartphone. They are a little pricey, though. Nike did launch its custom fit shoes earlier this year. A growing number of teachers are learning how to handle guns to help stop a shooter. So tomorrow, we're going to take you inside the training that they're receiving and looking at the debate over whether school districts should allow this type of protection.
Our temperatures in pretty good shape here the next few days, either at or above average. We'll be close to 50 tomorrow and just some small chances for rain Friday and Sunday. Thanks for joining us on the Now Indy. The news at 6 starts right now.
They need more guidance in their home. I'm so angry at the mothers of these children who did this.
An emotional plea tonight from a mother. Her teenage son was shot 4 times, and now she has a message for you and the community.
Ending gun violence in Indianapolis is not an easy task. We will show you how a group of pastors are taking matters into their own hands in an effort to make our streets safer.
Very windy right now, wind gusts over 30 miles per hour. When that calms down and when temperatures approach 50 degrees.
The mystery over whether John Dillinger is really buried at a local cemetery may not be answered anytime soon. We'll show you why, and you'll hear from family.
It's game on for the Southport High School basketball team, but the IHSAA is still punishing one member of the team because of a recruitment violation involving a foreign student.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
You would not, and I mean you would not, get away with this. Justice would be served for my son.
A mother's plea after her teenage son is shot on the east side Thanksgiving weekend.
16-year-old Quintez Tucker is still recovering tonight. He's a student, a volunteer, and a community leader.
Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny is digging into what happened and what his mother wants other parents to hear.
The flashing lights, a dark night, a person shot. It's an all too familiar sight as gun violence keeps a firm grip on Indianapolis. Its latest victim, 16-year-old Quintez Tucker, known as a community leader, a member of the Bloom Project, a program that helps prepare teens for a successful life. When we sat down with Quintez this summer, his hopes for the future were clear.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Entrepreneur.
Quintez is now recovering after he was shot in the head, chest, and back Thanksgiving weekend at 21st and Midhofer. Quintez was featured in a Call 6 Investigates report about racial disparities in school discipline, and he told us how much he worries about bullying.
It's like you gotta watch your back. Every move you take, you gotta watch. You gotta see, like, you gotta think before you act. You gotta make sure you're doing stuff right. You gotta pay attention to everything.
His mom, Nicole, says Quintez had just gotten paid on Thanksgiving from his job at Arby's, and he was spending the night with family when Quintez was contacted by another teen who eventually picked up Quintez in a car.
I got a call from his cousin that's very close to him saying that Quintez has been shot.
Quintez has opened his eyes, but it's not clear how much damage has been done.
I don't care about a penny. I don't care about a car. I just want everyone to keep my baby in their prayers.
Nicole says it's far too easy for teens to get guns. She has a message for parents.
Parents have to be the first policemen with their children. So I'm asking all parents, if you don't want to sit here and be in my position, I beg y'all, pray over y'all children. Check y'all children's rooms. Know who your kids is hanging with, not only in the neighborhood and school.
Nicole says she's done many things right as a mother. Quintez has a curfew of 10 o'clock. He has a job. He volunteers and is involved in countless programs.
Had it not been Thanksgiving and no school, Quintez would have been right under me.
Brandon Randall with the Bloom Project says this is proof gun violence can happen to anyone.
Quintez is awesome. He's energetic. He's compassionate. He literally would give the shirt off of his back for somebody. And for him to be 16, you don't find that in a lot of people.
Indianapolis Metro Police is still investigating the shooting and no arrests have been made.
Just want the people to know who did this to Quintez. Justice is going to be served.
Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Well, putting a stop to gun violence in Indianapolis might take work, but local pastors are trying to step up to the challenge. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain the latest attempt to keep guns off the streets.
To date, I've buried at least 6 16 to 21-year-olds. That's not the joy of ministry at all.
But that's the reality of gun violence. In a matter of 30 years, Pastor Wayne Moore has had to step out of his pulpit to comfort countless families.
Guns don't work unless we put them to work.
Seeing the grief and tears put a fire inside of him to help. Now he's teaming up with other pastors to see the vision through with a gun buyback event this Saturday in Indianapolis. The point of the event is to collect unwanted and unused guns. That way, those guns won't end up hurting anyone or landing in the wrong hands.
It hurts. I don't think there's any other way to put it except it hurts. Even when it's not you, you know the pain, it's familiar pain. And to know that yet again another family has joined this awful club.
Deandra Dykes knows the pain is just beginning once the bullet leaves the chamber of a gun.
It was a stray bullet. So Dre was attending a birthday party on the far west side, and a stray bullet flew through a window and hit my son. Look at that smile.
Her personal story about her son has stirred a passion to protect and save young people from suffering the same fate, since her son now relies on a wheelchair and doesn't talk. Almost 6 years after those shots rang out at that party.
It changes lives forever.
More on one side of things, burying victims, Dykes on the other, living the painful experience each day, but both fighting the same fight to keep young people from reaching for guns. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Well, the buyback event will be held from noon to 5 on Saturday at the Messiah Baptist Church on East 38th Street. It's part of the Ceasefire Initiative. Moms Demand Action will be partnering with Purpose for My Pain, We Live, and March for Our Lives to hold a candlelight vigil for gun violence victims. The vigil is happening right now at the Indianapolis Arts Garden inside the Circle Center Mall.
You may have wondered how windy today. 34-mile-per-hour peak gust in Indianapolis. A warmer wind that we almost made it to 50. The wind is steady and strong, but calming down. The wind gusts now to around 20 miles per hour, and they'll continue to fall through the evening hours. Dry and mild tomorrow. That's a big headline. The rain, that will return on Sunday. We've got the big blast of cold air to talk about for early next week. We'll do that coming up. 39 in Peru. Temperature in Indy 4 degrees warmer. And Terre Haute right now, warmest around at 46 degrees as we get started tomorrow morning. 29, mostly sunny. We've got more sunshine. We gained a little momentum here today, seeing that sun for the first time. 43 at noon. Tomorrow's high so close to hitting that 50-degree mark, and these are the temperatures across central Indiana. Weekend changes still to come. We'll talk about our temperature change next week and even some snow chances that come along with that.
New developments, a judge rules in favor of Crown Hill Cemetery, saying they do not have to allow family members of John Dillinger the right to exhume his body under current laws. The judge said that under Indiana law, the cemetery owner must give consent for an exhumation to occur, and the cemetery does not have to give a valid or rational reason to deny any request for an exhumation. The judge ruled against the man who says he is Dillinger's nephew. He had sued Crown Hill Cemetery in an effort to have Dillinger's body exhumed. Mike Thompson is looking into an unproven conspiracy theory that the FBI killed someone other than Dillinger outside a Chicago theater in July of 1934.
I just want the answers for the truth. All these years, there's been rumors, and once we got the files and looked at those, there's a whole lot more evidence it might not be him. So we just want some closure and find the truth.
Crown Hill Cemetery objected to the proposed exhumation back in August, citing the need to protect the safety, integrity, and peaceful tranquility of the families they serve. Dillinger was a gangster from Indiana who rose to prominence in the 1930s.
The Southport High School boys basketball team will now be able to compete in this year's state tournament, but the head coach has agreed to a suspension beginning in January. Last month, the Indiana High School Athletic Association imposed a sanction on the school because of a recruitment violation involving a foreign student. According to the report, head coach Eric Brand provided a tuition payment to Perry Township schools on behalf of the player from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The IHSAA originally penalized the school by removing the team from the year's state tournament, but the governing body says it received new information that led to a compromise, allowing the basketball team to play in the state tournament. Coach Eric Brand's suspension begins in January and will last through the rest of the season. The IHSAA won't release the new information they say they found out.
A veteran officer with the Lebanon Police Department faces charges of child seduction and domestic battery.
And this begins the RTV6 news feed. James Miller is a captain and has been with the Lebanon Police Department for roughly 24 years, and he is now charged with child seduction and domestic battery. According to court records, Miller is accused of writing inappropriate letters and text messages to a child. The child told investigators that Miller also kissed them inappropriately. The police department says Miller has submitted paperwork for his retirement, and he is currently on administrative leave with pay.
A crash this morning between a school bus and truck in Jennings County has left a 74-year-old school bus aide dead. We want to point out right away there were no kids on the bus at the time of this crash. Indiana State Police say a school bus was traveling south on State Road 7 when a truck turned in front of it. The driver of the bus was not hurt, but the bus aide, Mary Boyd, died. The driver and passenger in the truck are expected to recover.
A sigh of relief for people who drive on the west side. A heavily traveled bridge over Eagle Creek is finally back open. The Indianapolis Department of Public Works closed the Dandy Bridge Trail in April for a complete rebuild. It was supposed to open in mid-November, but a DPW spokesperson says cold weather delayed that work. And while the bridge was closed, long detours were necessary, causing headaches for drivers. But the Dandy Trail Bridge is back open tonight.
A recall alert. Trader Joe's is recalling some of its sushi products. The company says they may have been contaminated with listeria. CNN reports that the ready-to-eat items affected by this recall are California rolls, shrimp spring rolls, and smoked salmon poke bowl. All of these items come in plastic trays with clear lids. If you have these foods from Trader Joe's, take them back and don't eat them. Listeria can cause high fever, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Indiana has been and still is a manufacturing state.
Especially when it comes to assembling vehicles. We'll show you how a decades-long commitment to building cars in the Hoosier State is paying off for many people, and you could be one of them. We'll show you how tonight.
And you know Mackey means business when it's T-shirt night. Taking on 5th-ranked Virginia. Yep, that's a rematch of the Elite Eight back in March. Plus, the Colts sign a kicker. Tell you about it coming up.
Boiler up, Dave. We'll save plenty of time to hear about that big matchup. Let's talk about the temperatures. Warmer days are ahead before we see much colder air. You can see southwest of the Mississippi warmer temperatures. Now take a look at this. You may not recognize it at first. I'll explain what it is after this.
For less at Ross. Yes, for less.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
For more than a year, Hiring Hoosiers has connected you to job opportunities and the training necessary to get the career that you want.
And as we approach the new year, we're taking a look back at some of the companies and programs that are looking for people like you.
In March, I found a commitment made nearly 30 years ago to build cars, and Hire Hoosiers is still paying off today. It's 4:30 p.m. and Dorothy Moore has just clocked in on the second shift.
I work in stamping, the second part of the manufacturing process of building a car.
She's worked at the Subaru of Indiana automotive plant in Lafayette for nearly 3 years, operating heavy machinery. Quite the change from baking cakes and cookies for a living.
It didn't really pay very well, and so I had a lot of friends that worked at SIA saying, hey, they're hiring, come work for SIA. They have wonderful pay and benefits. You won't be sorry, and I'm not, so I'm glad I'm here.
Managers here want more workers with Dorothy's kind of attitude.
First and foremost, we need people that will come to work every day.
Scott Brand is one of the executives here, looking to fill more than 125 positions, mainly on the assembly line, setting car parts in place.
We have some turnover just based on people not being willing to get up in the morning or being able to make it to work in the afternoon at 4:30.
Brand admits there's a challenge retaining workers, attributed to a growing generational apathy among laborers, a trend other employers are also grappling with.
Well, what we're hoping is that in the team environment that we have here in the plant, that some of the veteran associates, some of the folks that have been here for a while, will help those associates see that those are good jobs. Those are great jobs. And they should, by applying themselves and coming to work every day, have a great opportunity to have a good life and a good career here at the company.
The company offers incentives to get workers to keep coming back, competitive wages, a perfect attendance bonus, a child development center with childcare, and a fitness facility. There are roughly 5,700 employees who work here. Half of them live in Lafayette. The other half come in from surrounding counties in metro Indianapolis. So Subaru is also exploring options to ease transportation challenges for workers with a longer commute. With a growing workforce, the plant is even expanding its training facility to get more workers on the production line faster. For Dorothy, it means a growing family.
We spend more time, with these people than we do our own families and friends, so we make the best of it and we get along really well.
Well, Subaru hires workers through the temp agency called CTI Personnel. Those positions eventually lead to full-time employment with Subaru itself. The pay starts around $14.25 an hour. If you're interested in Subaru, you're urged to apply for positions through CTI. There is a phone number and online application you can use. We have a link on our website at hiringhoosiers.com.
And it's the holiday season, and we hope you will consider donating to the RTV6 Toy Drive. Our collection on Monument Circle is Thursday, which is tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. You can also drop off toys at several locations, including participating Applebee's and used store locations. For a full list, go to theindychannel.com and click on the 6 Shines on Toy Drive link. Kevin.
Sunshine and mild temperatures will go with those hours tomorrow. Not a bad deal. Let's talk about the big picture, and I'm going to jump to Monday for a second. We'll fill in the rest of the gaps here. The wind out of the southwest, a big push of mild air starting Sunday and Monday. But however mild it feels then, the cold air is just off to the northwest. That will sweep in and really drop temperatures Tuesday, with the core of the cold air sitting over central Indiana and the Great Lakes as we get to the middle of next week. Temperatures that are in the low 50s take a big hit into Tuesday, keep on falling into Wednesday. In this transition, we'll have rain Monday and may change that over to some snow before it comes to an end on the Tuesday. Where are we now? It's breezy, but temperatures are still about average for this time of the year. 43. It's 39 in Tipton and Peru. West Lafayette 41, but it probably feels much warmer inside Mackey Arena. We'll check in with Dave here in a second. Could you figure out from just the brief view that I showed you a couple minutes ago? That's Victory Field. That's the infield outlined, and it really looks like a flying saucer, doesn't it? Temperatures tonight will fall into the upper 20s. That's the way we'll start our Thursday. A nice bounce back, though, as temperatures on Monument Circle and the rest of central Indiana climb quickly. 43 at noon, an afternoon temperature just shy of 50. I always like to go a little lower. Let's be optimistic. Maybe we hit 50. The clouds increase later tomorrow. Tomorrow night into Friday morning, can't rule out some very light rain showers. Those, especially in the southern half of the state, they would impact into Friday morning, then move on from there. Decent amount of cloud cover through the first part of Friday. Temperatures a little cooler, 45 for the high. Temperatures to the north will be in the lower 40s as we move into the weekend. First half of the weekend, the best, 42 as we have some sunshine. Then on Sunday, 51. The chance for rain really increases by Sunday night. Here's your 7-day planners. I told you those big temperature changes from Monday to Wednesday. Should be a good night in Mackey, and I'm sure it's getting loud in there already. Dave?
We're getting loud, that's for sure. Big Ten ACC Challenge tonight. Yes, it's a rematch of the Elite Eight played back in March. Purdue taking on 5th-ranked Virginia. Purdue's never beaten a top 5 team here inside Mackey Arena. We'll see if it happens tonight. Meanwhile, it is Buccaneers week for the Colts, and for those of us who had to work late back in 2003, it conjures up memories of the Monday Night Miracle when the Colts had to overcome a 21-point deficit in the last 4 minutes of regulation motivation to come back and beat Tampa Bay. Remember it? Well, join us in tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight.
It was all on ABC. Tony Dungy's first trip back to Tampa, and on his birthday, no less. But the Bucs didn't care one bit. Ran up a 28-7 lead in the third, and things looked bleak for the Colts.
At what point were you ready to pack it in?
What was it at halftime? I don't know.
Everybody's kind of going, you know, game's over, and you're just kind of standing there by yourself, and it's not a great feeling. And so that's when a lot of guys, like I said, it's never over, but a lot of guys are going, this one's just about over. And then boom, remember Pyatt returns that kick.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, breaks to the outside, he may go.
Brad Pyatt went 90 yards on the return, and suddenly there's hope.
Without Pyatt's kickoff return, the game's over, right?
Probably, because if you can go 80 yards in 20 seconds, is a lot better than, you know, taking 2 or 3 minutes off the clock, which clearly we didn't have. So I'm sure that's probably the biggest reason we won.
James Mungro's 3-yard touchdown closed the gap to 35-21. And the next drive?
Time, throwing, finding the open man, it's Harrison for the touchdown. And they're down by 1 score.
Tampa answers with a 3-and-out, and then the Colts get a call, roughing the passer on Warren Sapp.
Everybody was right there going, that's a flag, that's a flag. You know, it's like the umpire with a hidden ball trick going, you're out of there. Everybody's just pointing at the guy.
Another quick drive, culminating with another Manning to Marvin play. Capped off by a Ricky Williams game-tying touchdown. But the Monday Night Miracle is far from over. In overtime, a previously perfect Mike Vanderjagt needed a 40-yarder for the win.
And it is no good.
But wait, there was a flag. And it was a big one.
Turn around, and all of a sudden I hear, you know, he kind of goes leaping.
Number 97, defense. Oh, man.
Number 97, Simeon Rice, is called for climbing on the back of his teammate to try to block the kick. But was it a good call?
Pretty legal play on his part. In no way helped to try to get higher up, so it was a bit of a shady call.
And who said you don't get a second chance, which turned out to be just as bizarre.
And now the 29-yard attempt by Vanderjagt. He hits the upright, and it bangs through. How crazy is this?
71 minutes of football, over 4 hours on network TV, and no one will ever forget it.
I catch some guys that are telling me that they've stayed up and watched it, and maybe their wife tells me they're lying. They really did went to bed. So you find the guys that really are telling the truth or not.
Yeah, strange things happen on Monday night. We got another one coming up less than 2 weeks. Colts and Saints, Monday, December 16th, live here on RTV6 and ABC. And in case you missed it, just an hour or so ago, the Colts claiming 49ers kicker Chase McLaughlin off waivers. That's because Adam Vinatieri was limited today during practice. We'll see what that means moving forward. Colts and Bucs Sunday afternoon down in Tampa. That'll do it for now. Purdue, Virginia, tonight at 11 o'clock right here on RTV6. Until then, the news at 6 continues after this.
Or visit batteriesplus.com.
Today's RTV6 photo of the day comes from Jerry Wilson. This is Jerry's granddaughter, Nora, who is helping decorate the Christmas tree.
That is a great holiday outfit there.
Isn't that nice? You send your photo of the day, email it to us, news@WRTV.com. That simple.
She's checking the bulbs and checking them twice. To find out which ones work.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 7.